About 2 weeks ago, last week on Twitter, a certain girl came out and mentioned that this boy, he's quite popular among our youth, said that he raped her friend. And it just opened up this can of worms where everyone was coming out and saying, okay, I was sexually assaulted, and they were supporting names, and some certain names, which we're not going to mention, you know, got quite a few allegations. And it was just a shock to quite a few of us that know them on a personal level that these things happen everywhere. People are raped every day, sexually assaulted. But to know that they're happening to people our age, people in our set of group, it was quite, you know, something so unfathomable. Like, we couldn't understand that, okay, this thing goes on every day and we have to do something about it.
Now, people always allege that it's based on what you wear or the kind of friends you keep, where you go to school, the kinds, you know, those are the kind of things that will lead to young girl being raped. Do you agree, and what have you seen and what have you heard of that would let you agree or disagree?
On the issue of what kind of school you go to, this has totally cancelled whether it's a private or public school, because around last year we had issues of people that were graduating from public schools and, you know, they gang raped them or things like that. But now it's everywhere, both private, public schools. I honestly feel that no matter how you dress, how you look, where you go to, your school, wherever it is, I don't feel that should be a cause for you to get raped, because every boy should be trained once he's growing up that you should have self-control. That I'm wearing a short skirt, I mean, I don't necessarily wear them, but that I'm wearing a short skirt doesn't mean that I shouldn't be comfortable enough to walk out on the streets. But there's a level of decency that we girls also have to maintain. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that we should keep ourselves in cages just because we're trying to, you know, fit in with the lifestyle and not get raped or assaulted, because danger can happen in any way, in any time. So there's some people who are fully covered up and, you know, they still get assaulted or raped.
So in your work or in your experience, I'm sure you've met a lot of girls, some who would never want to talk about it again, who have been stigmatized so much that they don't want to even join this kind of work that you're staging. So how has it been talking to these girls, getting them out of the shell, getting them to come out and call out their rapists?
Okay, it's been quite a journey from about last week since we fully started our organization, because quite a few of them, when they came out on Twitter about last week, 2 weeks ago, a lot of them were anonymous. They were quite scared of, okay, I don't want to mention my name, so that it's either because a lot of them, there's a girl currently who is studying abroad, and Linda Ikechi caught up the story on Twitter when it was going on last week, and she put it on her page, her blog, sorry, and her parents figured out, I don't know how they did it, but they figured out that it was her in the story, and they called and said, that's the end of school, you're coming back home. And one of the people who were, you know, said that, okay, you were one of the people who sexually assaulted or raped, his parents are going around and saying, we're going to sue this person, sue this person, sue this person. So it's not been easy getting people to say, okay, I was sexually assaulted, especially because they don't want to go through the, oh, you're sexually assaulted? Oh, yeah, so there's a stigma that comes with it that, you know, oh, I should hide, I should cower. But
so what would be the objective of the work?
Is
it to make sure that people take out the stigma and, you know, we call this a crime and fight it as it is?
Yes, along those lines. So the main objective of the work is to spread awareness that this thing is happening everywhere, and we will not be silent, because a lot of the parents of the boys that were called out are trying to silence a lot of the girls. They've called their parents, they've called their friends, threatened them, and we're quite not comfortable with that, honestly.
So I wanted to ask, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Ah, I'm really impressed. I wanted to ask, what plans do you have? You know, your NGO, you're coming out to, you're asking people who have been raped or assaulted to own up, come out and say, I have been. So do you have plans? Because it goes beyond the physical assault.
Or even pronouncing it.
Yes, it gets into physiological, psychological, emotional, and that has a long-lasting effect. So how do you plan to handle that when you finally get people to come out and say, me too?
Okay, so since we just started, we don't have hands-on specialized or, fully specialized people working with us. So there are a few of us that, have gone through either counseling or psychology processes that we're trying to help in our little way. But if we see that's beyond us, we either refer them to quite a few foundations that, have reached out to us and said, okay, we want to help you in this aspect, and we want to help you in this aspect.
Okay,
so that makes it easy
so that
for
those
us.
watching can also be cautious going forward. Can you share one or two personal stories that you've heard that what led to the point of the person being raped, what happened exactly, so that people out there can almost be cautious, at least going forward? Are there any stories you'd like to share with us?
Okay,
No names,
I'll
obviously.
share. No names, but a few people might pick up the names from the familiarity of the stories. So there was one where the guy, they were in the school, private school, and he kept, pushing and saying, okay, I want you to give. So in our youth or in our slang terms, giving means, this is sexually...
No, we get giving.
Giving is...
means that you're giving in.
Sexually doing something. And, the girl kept persisting, I'm not interested, I don't want, blah, blah, blah. And turns out that he, kept her in a stairwell, like in the school, one of those staircase that people don't pass often, and went with his friends and they were touching, grabbing everything, and there's nobody to say, I'm getting sexually assaulted or anything, and she just felt, let me keep quiet. And there was another one where they...
So how did you find out about her?
Through the Twitter thing last week.
So that was multiple rape. A few guys came on her. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then there was another one. A lot of guys go ahead, which is common in our generation. A lot of guys go ahead. Once you stay around the girl once in a while, sit next to her in class. When you go to a party, hang around her, and then maybe you go in a bedroom with her. She may not necessarily do anything with you. You may just force yourself on her, try to kiss her, try to, grab her body parts. And then they come out and go, oh, she was so easy. And we're just confused as to, you never did anything. And the girl quite doesn't have a voice to say, okay, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this didn't happen. So it's something very disturbing for a lot of us to hear, because we went to school with these people. And
but one of the major reasons why a parent of a boy would say, I would sue the girl, is because maybe the girl never took through criminal prosecution. So once a girl gets raped, it's important that you quickly approach every primary healthcare center in any part of Lagos, for instance. They have rape kits at every primary healthcare centers, because I work with rape victims as well. They will give you the rape kit, pick up the specimen. That is what we need for a true, thorough prosecution. Yeah. So once that is true, nobody can sue a girl.
Because one of the things that Aisha is talking about is boys lying that, oh, I slept with her, when they didn't even do anything. So they stigmatize the girls. They
she's loose.
She's loose when she's not. And how can we stop that? Because when I was growing up, that kind of thing happened to girls. Gangbang happened to girls when I was growing up, and nobody used to say anything. I mean, there were some boys that were notorious for it.
I
know the boys even as I'm old, I know who they are.
So let me let you have some last, because we're going to bring in an expert. But in your, what else would you like to share with us? Especially, there's a walk on Saturday.
Yes,
who are you calling for this walk? Young people or just parents?
Everybody, parents, young people. We want young people to come out and say, okay, we will not be silent, because this is happening to our friends, this is happening to everyone. And we want parents to come out and say, it's okay for you to come out and tell me, Mommy, I've been sexually assaulted. Mommy, I've been this. And parents who you have boys who have done these things, kindly, don't be in denial. Don't push your boy, and because you don't know what he's going to do in the next few days, in the next, few years, that's going to blow back on you. So everybody should just come out and let's, spread the awareness, raise.
Where's the work taking place?
Okay, we're going to start at St. Saviour's Primary School in Ikoyi, and, go through Falomo and back to St. Saviour's.
Fantastic. So we'll try to... Well done, Aisha. We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we're going to have a guest who enlightens us. How do we secure young girls, especially teenagers, from being raped? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show is a child protection specialist and consultant. Delightsomelands, a non-governmental organization, NGO, Angela Lamp Onaiga. Welcome to the show, ma.
Thank you.
You can give us a call on 070-80668-014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Thank you for coming, ma'am. We just had Aisha, and there are lots of young girls, even younger, between the teenagers especially. And the reason why I wanted to focus a bit on teenagers, I know children are being raped also, but the reason why I wanted to focus on teenagers a bit because they are growing, their body parts are changing, they are curious, they are getting to that age where they want to explore, they want to experiment, they're confused on their identity, but none of these things should be an invitation to rape. So it could be that information of, oh, she has this, she has that. People might think that as an invitation. So in your work, as a teenager, how could we handle the situation where young girls are actually getting to this development stage?
A lot of it comes from the parents.
Okay.
And actually you don't start talking to your children when they're 12 and 13. You talk to them when they're younger.
Exactly.
And so girls need to know about their bodies and that they need to be able to say, I'm uncomfortable with what the person is doing. So I know the young lady was talking a little while ago about the boy that was touching or saying things. That child should have reported that information to her teacher, to somebody else, her parents or whatever, because some things can be prevented if you take action